100% confident people can lose weight without the drug.
Using Ozempic for weight loss is vanity, not medicine. Can the Greer step forward?
If you're not 400 pounds and you're taking this medication, it's absolutely vanity. The risks certainly outweigh the benefits, according to our research. You simply have to keep trying if you haven't been successful.
In fact, I was so vulnerable to the media, like these young girls are today, and I fell for the body positivity trap, the opposite trap, actually. And I thought that being obese was beautiful at that time. When I was 15, I thought being morbidly obese was beautiful and healthy because social media told me it was. So nobody believed me that this really happened because it sounds so outrageous. But now I know that I'm actually not the only one it's happened to. We just got an email from a client who has had the same experience with her own daughter. Dietitians and therapists and doctors say being obese is fine, it's healthy, it's beautiful, you can eat any food, there's no such thing as bad food. We received an email from a mom who said over the last 4 to 5 years, my daughter has developed terrible eating habits and has gained 70 pounds. I'm worried about her health and would like to get her help, but it's difficult for her to even eat healthy food. And over the last year, I've reached out to several local nutritionists that her pediatrician recommended. One told me I wasn't allowed to refer to any foods as junk foods and that no foods are good or bad, and everything in moderation is fine. The problem is that my daughter does not seem to be able to moderate her food intake on her own and will now only eat primarily processed food, which is junk and not healthy. And people really didn't believe me, and they were like hating in the comment section.
People my age can't imagine that anybody would be so gullible and naive that they would believe messaging like that on social media. But the truth is that we don't understand, our generation, my generation, how influenced you are, how much of your reality is immersed with the social media reality.
Yeah, and for our longtime subscribers, they actually know that literally our whole channel and our whole work has been behind the fact that body positivity is the biggest lie.
Well, it started that way.
Yeah.
And then it's morphed into healing your hunger. Truly. I was blindsided by the social media influence on Penelope's life. It's embarrassing to admit, but it's true. And I'm sure there are millions of moms out there who share this same issue. In fact, I oftentimes wondered if, because I was such a health nut, if it caused Penelope to turn in the complete opposite direction.
Okay, and then she also goes into depth in the email and she says, today I spoke with another nutritionist who claims on her website that she helps resistant eaters, but she told me that because of my daughter's age and autism, I will never be able to get her to change her eating habits, and that the last chance for us is to put her on a GLP-1 medication.
Not true, not true.
This girl is 20 years old. And this is what they're telling children now. There are now children on these drugs, which we'll get into later in the episode, but they actually took out the entire pediatrician part of the Jubilee section.
That's true.
Which Mom and I spoke heavily in. When I finally realized that being obese wasn't healthy and that it wasn't beautiful, I tried HCG injections. I tried green tea pills. I tried many diets, and it didn't work for me. And none of it worked for me. There was a study done called Highly Processed Foods Can Be Considered Addictive Substances Based on Established Scientific Criteria, showing that ultra-processed foods are more addictive than cocaine, and they're high in sugar, fat, and salt, which are also more addictive than cocaine, and drive eating disorder behavior.
Yeah, I mean, disordered eating behavior, because you exemplified this. You had 3 or 4 friends that joined you in this exemplification, and this woman who emailed us that you just read, her daughter's in exactly the same boat. And there are hundreds of millions of people who are falling prey to this situation that we're in, because we've never been fatter, sicker, or more infertile than we are today. And in the last 100 years, we've had a lot of changes in our food system. And I believe that food addiction is something that our doctors don't really understand. They also don't have much nutrition education. And overall, we're looking at a huge problem that I don't believe the solution for is a GLP-1.
Evidence for sugar addiction, behavioral and neurochemical effects of intermittent fasting and excessive sugar intake, which also show food addiction, which is why I was telling in the Jubilee episode, I was saying that I tried every diet. I tried every single thing on the planet, and nothing worked for me except for getting rid of flour and sugar and eating whole foods and making my favorite junk food at home. And that is not spoken about today, because when you go to an eating disorder clinic or you go to a dietitian, they say you can have everything in moderation, and it doesn't work for people. And that's why they now get to do the GLP-1s instead.
Yeah, and there are two bodies of science. One that shows that elimination diets or restrictive eating cause binge purge eating disorders. Then you have this other body of science that shows that it shifts your biology and neurology into addiction mode. So why not just set yourself up for success? And, this part was cut out, but we had said that actually, but kept emphasizing, elimination of flour and sugar as a great first step. And Chanel was like, I am so tired of that conversation. Can a girl just get a break? And I'm here to say, no, actually, a girl can't get a break, because your heart doesn't get a break. Your liver doesn't get a break. Your brain doesn't get a break. Your body works for you 24 hours, 7 days a week. And no, a girl can't get a break. And flour and sugar are going to drive you into addiction, which is a deep, dark, horrible hole that only leads to illness, sadness, and destruction.
I tried HCG injections. I tried green tea pills. I tried many diets, and it didn't work for me. And none of it worked for me.
Know what it takes to lose the weight. So even as someone that is not really big on meds as a first response, I believe that they do have a place, and that not everybody is doing it for vanity. Are there people? Yes, we know that. That's going to happen. But a lot of these people really don't know what it takes to lose weight and keep it off, and that's why they think they've done everything.
Well, is she pro-Ozempic or anti-Ozempic? I'm not sure at this point in the episode. What do you think, Penelope? I think she's anti, but still,
Again, it was 6v2. It was not 4v4.
Well, I have a little bit of stuff I want to unpack here. She said, people don't realize what it takes. What is the thing we hear every week of our lives with our program and our clients? I've tried everything. Nothing works. Is that something you say? Something the audience says? In fact, actually, the comments of this episode, I heard that over and over and over again.
And I'd like to hear from the audience. Do we believe in the law of thermodynamics, calories in, calories out?
Well, the law of thermodynamics specifically states that energy is neither created nor destroyed. And so that means, in this context, that I don't believe it's as simple as calories in, calories out. So I actually disagree with you.
But that's okay. We all know that that's a fact. And if
I can't eat 3,000 calories a day and expect to lose weight. That's
chicken
clear.
or the egg? What comes first, the chicken or the egg?
The egg.
Okay, so if you eat too many calories, you'll become overweight. And if you eat less calories, you will become not overweight anymore. It's that simple.
Yeah, and I feel like there's a huge gap in our understanding about nutrition. And if you think you've tried everything, you may have tried everything a very broken healthcare system has to offer you. And you might have been trying restriction without addressing the food addiction, or you've tried exercise without learning about ultra-processed food, or you've tried willpower without truly understanding that your body is hijacked by engineered, hyper-palatable foods. They literally change your taste buds and your gut microbiome to make you an addict. Don't be a victim to that. I am for you not being a victim to an obesogenic environment. I am for you taking full ownership of your health and vitality and taking responsibility for that and making something great out of your life. I believe in your power to do that because you have it. The doctor doesn't have it. A GLP-1 doesn't have it. You have it because no one else chooses what you put in your mouth, what you're buying at the grocery store, what you're putting on your table. You're the one in the driver's seat. And I was shocked by the comments about this. People don't believe that. You actually don't believe this. I believe in you. You need to believe in you. Come on, wake up. Really? For real. Because if you tried dieting, but no one taught you about what real food is, of course it's not going to work. It has to be delicious. It has to be inspiring. It has to be fun. But who's going to teach you to do that? School didn't teach you. Home economics is now considered sexist. Your mom probably didn't teach you because she didn't know any better because her mom was too busy working. Potentially. How are you supposed to learn? Oh, the latest TikTok or Instagram trend? No, I don't think so. No. You really have to learn what real food is, and you have to learn how to cook it. So I'm sorry. I don't believe that you've tried everything. I don't believe it. I'm not willing to believe it.
If you tried everything, you wouldn't be overweight anymore, and it's that simple.
Yeah, there are calorie counting apps, there are recipe apps. I get it, but just having more willpower isn't going to work either. And you can't just blame somebody. You can't just be a victim and just point the finger. No. And the food system that's completely toxic Making yourself less hungry and still eating the same toxic food is not going to help you. It's just not. I heard it was a glucose goddess. She said if the water system was toxic, you wouldn't give people a pill to make you less thirsty. It just wouldn't. And that's what we're doing, I think, with GLP-1s. It just doesn't make any logical sense to me, someone who's been doing this, understanding human biology and physiology and nutritional science for over 30 years. It doesn't make any sense to paralyze your stomach and to compromise your belly, your gut microbiome. It's downright dangerous.
Is shocking.
Like Ashley, 30, osteoporosis.
Oh,
sick.
for real.
She was so scared, and I think about her story, and I think about
what is needed is comprehensive lifestyle medicine. And it's not incentivized. It's not part of a business model. What you need is to learn how to make food, how to really cook. What you need is group support. What you need is to realize that ultra-processed foods are highly addictive substances. What you need is understanding how to make exercise fun. And this takes 12 to 16 weeks, and no insurance company is covering that I know of right now. And you haven't tried that because you haven't been provided a pathway or a solution. Who is going to offer you that support? I get it. You didn't try it because you didn't know it. You didn't try it because you didn't trust it. You didn't try it because no one offered it to you. I get it. But that is the solution. And there's plenty of research to back that up. So there's the original study from 1990 from Dean Ornish. He's one of the classic guys I learned about when I got my bachelor's and master's degree in nutrition. And this was a study in the Lancet that changed everything we thought about heart disease. He's a cardiologist. So in the study, there were 48 patients, and I know it's kind of a small study, but it's a 15-year study, which is really interesting. They had moderate to severe heart disease, and what they did was lifestyle medicine. They intervened with culinary medicine, they intervened with exercise and group support and accountability. The studies were amazing. The lifestyle changes reversed their heart disease. It reversed their heart disease. I'm going to say it again. These lifestyle changes reversed their heart disease. They did a 5-year follow-up, and they had this question: can people maintain these changes? And the answer was yes. 71% of the participants completed the 5-year follow-up, providing the proof that sticking to this lifestyle changed their trajectory. They didn't end up having heart disease. These were people who were having episodes, of heart attacks and things like major heart disease. Completely reversed it, a portion of them, which is amazing. So before the study, the 18 adherent patients had experienced 49 cardiac events over 8 years while under expert cardiologist care. That's heart attacks, bypass surgeries, angioplasties, and strokes. After 12 years on the lifestyle program, they had 0 cardiac events. 0. And yet we're still prescribing statins for heart disease. We know that it's #1 killer in America, heart disease. And we have proven now, in 1998, a long time ago, that lifestyle medicine reverses cardiovascular disease without drugs, without surgery, and is published in one of the world's most respected medical journals 30 years ago. We have 0 studies showing that GLP-1 drugs reverse heart disease. None. The Ornish program measured actual arterial opening, blood flow improvement, disease reversal. I mean, that's pretty interesting. Okay, so there's another study that is even more interesting. It's called the Diabetes Prevention Program, the DPP. It is the largest lifestyle medicine trial ever known historically. And the original one was done in 2002. The Diabetes Prevention Program is one of the most important medical studies ever conducted. It was funded by the NIH. It involved 27 centers nationwide and included 3,234 participants at high risk of diabetes type 2. So there were 3 groups. There was a intensive lifestyle intervention. So they had a 7% weight loss goal, and they did, exercise, physical activity, sessions with, group sessions and monthly follow-ups. And then they also had metformin, which is a pharmaceutical intervention. And they had a placebo. So those were the 3 groups. After 2.8 years, the lifestyle intervention reduced diabetes risk by 58% compared to the placebo. That is substantial, 58%. The metformin reduced diabetes by 31% compared to the placebo, but lifestyle was nearly twice as effective as medication. Even more important, this worked across all age groups and both sexes and all racial and ethnic groups, including populations typically underserved by healthcare. So this is a pretty incredible study. And guess what? They did a 10-year follow-up. Like, you might ask yourself, do the benefits last? Well, they followed participants for more than 10 years, and the results, drum roll please. The lifestyle intervention continued to reduce diabetes incidence by 34% at 10 years. Metformin, the drug, the pharmaceutical intervention, continued to reduce diabetes incidence by 18% at 10 years. So the lifestyle intervention is nearly twice as effective as the metformin. Weight loss is the strongest predictor of who stays diabetes free. We know that. And this was an important study. We didn't have the same level of obesity that we have today, but these are pretty important. And then they studied it for a 15-year follow-up. That's why this is the largest study ever done. The lifestyle intervention reduced diabetes incidence by 27% at 15 years, metformin at 18%. So lifestyle interventions still more effective than medication after 15 years. I don't know any medication that's more effective than lifestyle. I really don't. I would love to know. If you know, please comment down below. Participants in the lifestyle group had significantly lower rates of microvascular complications. And that's really important. And I'm going to say that because metabolic health, like the health of your organs, the health of your cells, is something that we're not talking about at all in this GLP-1 conversation. The erosion of that or the strengthening of that. In fact, they're concerned about the metabolic rebound. Anyway, we're going to get into that in just a minute. But participants in the lifestyle group had significantly lower rates of microvascular complications, meaning eye, kidney, and nerve damage. And the most important finding is that the benefits persisted even though the intensive intervention had ended years before. People had learned the skills that lasted because GLP-1s don't teach you the skills that you need to live a healthier lifestyle. They just don't. They're not going to fix your broken gut. They're going to make it worse. They're not going to fix the broken food supply chain. No, they're not. You have to learn the skills that are required to change your life and change your health. And then you have freedom. What human doesn't desire and want freedom? Nobody wants to be fat, sick, and tired. That is a horrible existence.
Everybody is doing it for vanity. Are there people? Yes, we know that. Like that's going to happen. But a lot of these people really don't know what it takes to lose weight and keep it off, and that's why they think they've done everything.
Is shocking.
Like Ashley, 30, osteoporosis.
Oh,
sick.
for real.
She was so scared, and I think about her story, and I think about the thousands of young women who take these drugs because they see these ads online and think, okay, well, I think I need to lose 5-10 pounds. They take the Ozempic, they take the off-the-label Ozempic, they take whatever they can find and end up with osteoporosis or dead. First of all, there was a British lady who died in the UK from taking off-the-label Ozempic.
Right, but I mean, it wasn't because of osteoporosis. I just want to clarify.
Correct. And then singer Avery. It's actually not Ashley. Her name is Singer Avery.
Oh.
So it's Avery, Singer Avery, 30, pink hair. She got osteoporosis, and the doctors on the panel said, oh, well, it wasn't because of the GLP-1. Right, because like a normal, healthy 30-year-old definitely didn't get osteoporosis from the drug she just took, and now she all of a sudden has osteoporosis. I mean, if anything is a conspiracy theorist, if anything is a conspiracy theory, I think it would be that Ozempic did not cause that. That would be the theory that somehow she magically got osteoporosis, and it was definitely not because of the only drug she was taking, Ozempic.
I mean, from what I understand, it's very unusual for anyone under the age of 40-something to have osteoporosis or osteopenia. And Dr. Boz mentioned it 3 or 4 times, and they didn't add each time in the Jubilee episode that wasn't the final cut. But she said, I can't make up that bone loss. And we'll get to a study about sarcopenia, which, anyway, in just a moment. But
may I add that on the black box warning of these drugs, osteoporosis is not on the black box warning or the FDA label insert. Yet this woman still experienced osteoporosis. On the FDA label, it doesn't say that you could die. And this British woman died. So I just want to make it really clear that when you're reading even the insert, it's not telling you all the side effects that we're now seeing.
She's not the only one that died. I mean, there are mounting suicides that are being reported by the NIH of people who've died. CNN did an episode recently on someone who had to get their colon removed.
We interviewed a woman the other day who had organ failure, and she was going to have heart failure and then die if she didn't go to the hospital, and she had no idea she was in any of those.
Very close to going into heart failure because all my organs were shutting down, and he did not advise me to go in my private vehicle.
I think there was also a news article that I read about a man who lost his wife, and they're relating it to GLP-1s. And I do have to mention, folks, we spoke to a forensic pathologist who leads a team of people who analyze deaths every day of the week. That's their job. And she's seen every week deaths that she would correlate are related to GLP-1 agonists. But
So should
they're
we-
not really able to report them as such at this time.
Are we supposed to normalize dying for weight loss?
Hide it from the family because it's so embarrassing. And then they are found dead later. But the issue say that the family now has to contend with when they call the doctor. It's like, why is my family member nonstop having to go to the toilet or having to vomit? And then the doctor would, the prescribing doctor would just have to admit, well, I'm sorry, it was a side effect of the drug. But then it doesn't stop, and then they end up with a dead patient or a dead family member.
In this way, is that something we're supposed to normalize as a culture, that we should be dying, going blind, and having all system organ failure because of a weight loss drug we do not 100% need, that is not 100% safe and effective? I want to ask you guys that, because it's not worth it. As someone who lost 160 pounds naturally, it's not worth it when you can get better health outcomes losing weight naturally than taking these drugs.
The side effects of these drugs are well documented. And I think everybody who decides to take one knows that they're going to have gastrointestinal side effects. And that is part of what the 3,000 plus lawsuits that are out are. I want better labels, they're saying. That's what they're fighting for. If I'm not mistaken, I read that they've allocated $2 billion, Novo Nordisk, just to settle these lawsuits, because that's just what they do, I guess. But there were over 25,000 visits in 2024 to the ER for gastrointestinal upsets. So this is not just like a tummy ache. I mean, this is like, they cannot eat without feeling sick. Like when you go into surgery and you have to get, put under, they're having patients aspirate because the food is still left in their stomach. I mean, it's a really big problem. And by the way, these side effects documented in JAMA, the nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, constipation, abdominal pain, the gastroparesis, which means your stomach gets paralyzed. That's also from JAMA. Alarming rates of stomach paralysis. That's dangerous, by the way. You don't want your stomach to be paralyzed. That's not what it was designed to do. Pancreatitis, bowel obstruction. These are all things that you require surgery for, by the way. A 2022 meta-analysis raised concerns about the pancreatic effects. They found that it increased pancreatitis across all the studies and possible cancer, although more research is needed. The FDA label does include pancreatitis, but I just feel like they're stepping over these things.
Well, what's interesting is the doctors will say the benefits outweigh the risks. You'll hear this in our podcast with Dr. Mary Pardee. You will hear this in the Jubilee panel. You'll hear doctors that are pro-Ozempic saying this. And they also didn't include the part where I asked the doctors and even the girl how much money they make and if they're being paid. And they both, one of the doctors denied that they were being paid, which is actually completely false, because when you go to their page, you'll see that they get paid per appointment.
Well,
for
that's
every
not the same
appointment.
as like getting paid off or getting a cut of
They're
the drug.
still indirectly getting paid, period.
I mean, so are we. I mean, we have a weight loss program.
Chanel brought that up, but the difference between us and Ozempic is that Ozempic is a lifetime drug, and you're giving it to a company that doesn't care about your health. We're offering a solution to people of, this is how you cook, this is how you eat healthy food, you take these lessons with you forever, you lose the weight for good, and you never come back. That's the point.
It's true, and it's successful. I mean, one of our clients has lost over 116 pounds, and she makes dessert for her friends and family, but she has no desire to eat it. The biggest thing that surprised her was how much food that she ate and how much she enjoyed it. And in fact, when she started her journey to weight loss with us, her good friend started a journey on a GLP-1. She's now down over 116 pounds. The other woman, only 30. And she's got vision loss, memory issues. She's got, her skin is like looking horrible. She feels horrible. She has no energy. She's getting depressed. And I think that is one of my biggest concerns.
You guys, now we have anecdotal evidence that natural weight loss is outperforming a GLP-1 for health benefits, no loose skin, eyesight, good eyesight.
Yeah, I mean, she has thick hair. Her nails are long. I mean, our girl is like tight skin. She's looking hot. All of her problems have changed.
PCOS reversed, sounds like the GLP-1's not reversing her friend's PCOS. So, I mean, polycystic ovarian syndrome, what it means. It basically means that when you get a period, you have like really, really painful periods. You're in bed all day long, 24/7, like the whole 8 days of your period, you can't go anywhere. You're in so much pain. You have acne, you have dark patches under your armpits and your legs, and it's horrible. And you have facial hair. And it's actually caused, as we know now, by ultra-processed foods. That's how I got it.
But I think the biggest side effect that is being underreported are the suicidal ideations. It was interesting. We interviewed somebody recently that you'll see in an upcoming piece of content, and it was interesting. She was saying about all these things that happened during her journey, and then she was like, I was so depressed, I couldn't get out of bed. She also had no energy. I mean, since when was it a good idea to paralyze your stomach and starve yourself?
Suicidal ideation there, thoughts, especially because unfortunately, like 2 years before that, I lost my dad. So you start thinking about the lack of your life when you're like mentally just exhausted. And you start thinking those thoughts of like, I'm not good enough.
Isn't that something that we fought against and we fought for in coming to this country? Isn't that something that we stand for in terms of, you know, someone who's successful and someone who's achieving is someone who's not struggling to make ends meet and starve themselves. Poverty is related to starvation. Do we want to be putting ourselves into a poverty mindset and into this idea? And in fact, people who are in poverty can't even get these drugs because they're too expensive, even though they made them less expensive. I mean, the whole thing is so backwards and upside down, but there are reports of suicidal ideation, that means thoughts of suicide, depression, new onset or worsening of depression, anxiety, mood changes, emotional blunting. I've heard this phrase so many times, I don't feel like myself anymore. The European Medicines Agency opened an investigation into these reports. These were adverse events reported from the FDA, and some patients report, I lost my weight, but I also lost my joy. I felt emotionally numb. But when you're losing weight, don't you also want to lose fat? Not muscle. I don't know about you, but I don't want to be losing muscle. That's really bad for my aging process. It's really bad for my, a good looking body. That's really bad for just feeling free and strong, that you can do things and climb mountains and whatnot. It's also really important to not have loose, saggy skin. The Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism found the findings that GLP-1 receptor agonists led to significant reductions in lean body mass. So you're taking this injection to lose weight, but you're not actually losing fat. This was a 2024 systematic review and network meta-analysis that was published. And your lean mass accounts for approximately 25 to 40% of total weight loss. So if you lose 40 pounds, 10 to 16 of that is muscle. The loss of muscle mass accelerates aging. That's why people who look so sick who are on these drugs, and come to find out the plastic surgeons in Los Angeles are not even the recovery is not working. So people look really not like themselves. I have a fashion designer neighbor, and she was saying to me, I don't recognize anyone anymore because they lost all this weight on GLP-1s. Now the plastic surgery is poking out of their faces, the fillers and whatnot. Then they have to get a facelift, but the facelift isn't taking because their skin isn't healing. I mean, you guys, this is a disaster. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens in Hollywood the next few years. Chanel said that it reversed her PCOS. So that's interesting. And PCOS, I think, makes you eligible to be on a GLP-1.
I would say I don't know that I believe her because I saw some of the PCOS symptoms on her body when I saw her in person. So I can't say if that's true or not. I haven't heard someone verify or not verify that, but she also wouldn't tell me how much money she made from GLP-1s.
The good news is that when you do lifestyle medicine, your PCOS disappears, you get stronger, you get hotter, and you get better in every way imaginable because you're free and you have good vibes and you sleep well and you have energy. And it's a really good thing. I mean, I know I'm just telling you what you already know, but it just seems so obvious. I can't believe that we're on this battleground, but it's so interesting. Remember, don't wake up. Your body is designed to heal itself. And if you've tried everything, I'm going to say check yourself.
Wait, they don't like you for saying that your body can heal yourself. I'm just letting you know. That's not a good, people don't like that. They don't believe in that.
I know, that's the whole point.
I know, I'm just telling you that people really...
This whole video is about that.
I know.
And there's a study from Dean Ornish, the Diabetes Prevention Program that I've just outlined, as well as many others that do show that there are problems with GLP-1s, and we have an obese population. We've got to do something about it. I totally agree. But GLP-1s is a first line of defense for doctors, and they're doling them out like candy, giving them for everything imaginable. We have a friend who is skinny, whose doctor said, I think you should be on a GLP-1. I mean, it's like, what is this? It's like a gold rush. And Penelope, people don't like me for saying that. This is all too familiar. Wasn't there a time just a few years ago when we were encouraged? Oh no, more than encouraged. We were required to get a COVID vaccine because all of a sudden natural immunity wasn't as good? I don't think so. Come again. This is all too familiar. Now we know that natural immunity actually is good for you and that the COVID vaccine didn't really work and caused a ton of complications. Interesting, right?
The Ozempic, they take the off-the-label Ozempic. They take whatever they can find and end up with osteoporosis or dead.
And where they don't have to disclose the side effects like television ads. Guess how much Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk, the manufacturers of these semaglutide drugs, spent in 2024 on television advertising?
I can only imagine.
Over $400 million.
That's a powerful machine.
It's so powerful, they pay Chanel $100 per sale.
Or more, we don't know.
Or more, you guys. I mean, I really don't know how much. I tried to interview some girls on TikTok who promote these drugs who are still overweight, and they wouldn't want to talk to me. They didn't want to talk to me. They didn't want to answer my questions.
Oh, I blocked her in the past. Okay, I guess I'll just do. I do really feel like it helps with anxiety. Sorry, y'all. I'm kind of behind on the comments. There's so much content with cottage cheese recipes. Yeah.
I joined so many lives, you guys. Spent hours trying to get on these people's live streams where they promote these drugs and sometimes off-the-label drugs, and they wouldn't talk to me, you guys. I was really nice to them. I was like, hi, I really want to interview you on your weight loss journey. And then I asked the girls how much money they made and stuff, and they were like, blocked. They're like, oh, they're not pro GLP-1s.
No, but we got offered. In the beginning, we got hunted down and said, hey, we would like to compensate you to promote our drugs because they knew that we were in the weight loss business.
We're actually trying to help you heal naturally without making you go blind. So, sorry, not sorry.
If your mama didn't teach you that marketing is there to manipulate you, then shame on her. It is not okay. You need to get smart, and I know that you are smart, so you can know better and do better. Do not fall prey to marketing tactics that are worth well over $400 billion. This is a old school playbook. Tobacco industry does it, the food industry does it, the pharmaceutical industry does it. I mean, most people can even sing those jingles. They are very well architected to manipulate your brain, but do not fall prey. You are smarter than that.
Big pharma is a multi-billion-dollar industry. Cigarettes are a multi-billion-dollar industry. Television is a multi-billion-dollar industry. OnlyFans is a multi-billion-dollar industry. The sun is free. Walking is free. Running is free. Sleeping is free. Water is free.
Yeah, there's not a lot of money to make. That's true.
I know, but why aren't we promoting that?
Well, we are actually, and we're being condemned for it. And it's okay because I know that what we're saying is true. I've seen it work for myself. I've seen it work for lots of other people, and it's just not maybe, I don't know, as quick fix, but we got to be thinking long term, not short term. And in fact, there are no long term studies that show this is safe or effective, that it's good for fertility. But we're going to get into that in a minute.
There's also no data showing that GLP-1s are a more safe and effective way of losing weight than natural. Natural weight loss still outperforms GLP-1 weight loss.
Comment down below if you think obesity is a disease, because it just became one in the last 10 years. Interesting.
Even though it went against the American Association. They all voted not to make it a disease.
The American Medical Association did have some controversy when they decided to establish obesity as a disease as opposed to a condition. So it's interesting. Semantics matter, especially when it comes to profits.
Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk, the manufacturers of these semaglutide drugs, spent in 2024 on television advertising.
I can only imagine.
Over $400 million. Show that only 30% of the people on the drug are actually making lifestyle changes.
In the book The Magic Pill, Johan Nori says that he goes on these drugs and he still goes to KFC every single day eating the same junk food. In a step trial follow-up, 1 year after stopping semaglutide 2.4 milligrams, participants regained about 2/3 of the weight they had lost. And most of the health improvements drifted back toward the baseline, which, of course, medication, when you get off of it, you're not going to get any of the benefits. But with natural weight loss, you see long-term benefits. So here's the proof. When they did a contrast, a large meta-analysis of 249 behavioral lifestyle trials with over 20,000 people found that after programs end, participants keep an average weight loss of about 2 to 4 kilograms at 3 years. So you notice within 1 year, the other group on the GLP-1s regained 2/3 of the weight. And the group who did 20,000 people who did natural weight loss kept the weight off for 3 years, kept losing weight.
And lifestyle means like learning to cook, getting group support, learning about exercise. And the landmark Step 1 trial extension published in Diabetes, Obesity, and Metabolism showed what happens when people stop semaglutide. 1 year after stopping, they regain 2/3 of their prior weight loss. Their cardiometabolic, that means their heart improvements and the metabolic, their whole system improvements, deteriorated. So they just basically ricocheted back to where they were, if not worse. This occurred even though the participants continued lifestyle intervention support. So the medication wasn't doing the work without the lifestyle changes. Lifestyle changes are required, and that's what I mean by guardrails. These drugs are powerful. Dr. Boz said that on the Jubilee episode, and the guardrails are not there. And it makes me really wonder if we're looking at some major corruption. I mean, I'm not surprised, right? I mean, there's always been corruption. Wherever there's a lot of money, there's greed, and there are humans, and there's corruption. But you can be smarter than that. You don't have to fall prey to that. You are not a victim of that.
That only 30% of the people on the drug are actually making lifestyle changes. These studies are very concerning. The American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists, yes, they say you should stop taking them 6 to 8 weeks before conception because of miscarriages, bone deformation, organ shrinking. We're potentially looking at a population not aging well, weak, frail. I mean, that is the potential if we don't put some kind of restraint on the prescriptions of these drugs.
I think the biggest point here is that we just don't have the data. And that's why that guy, Matt, agreed with me. Because he knows there isn't data. There isn't data on healthy pregnancies. There isn't data on long-term effects of accidental babies while someone's been on one of these GLP-1s. We don't have long-term data on puberty, like, what happens with your hormones while you're developing, either developing a human or developing into an older human. The fact that we don't have the long-term data is a problem for me, especially as a parent who would never want these drugs prescribed to their child, even in the face of it feeling desperate, even in the face of not knowing what to do, even in the face of their child's addiction to ultra-processed food, because ultra-processed food is addictive, and that is proven. And I have the proof right here. GLP-1s do not address food addiction. Like, how did you get fat in the first place? Probably because you've been eating too much. There was a 2023 meta-analysis applying the Yale Food Addiction Scale, and it found that food addiction is prevalent in 14% of the general population, which is pretty high, 20% in people with obesity, and 42% with people who have binge eating disorders. So the food is causing the binge eating disorder based on what I've learned in nutritional psychology. But food addiction is associated with higher body mass index, greater eating pathology, lower quality of life, and higher rates of depression and anxiety. And what are ultra-processed foods? Doritos, Tostitos, Cheetos, Sofritos, Dunkin' Donuts, ice cream, pizza, prepared cakes, candies, croissants, muffins. I mean, the majority of the stuff that you see at every grocery store, coffee shop, restaurant. I mean, it's everywhere. And that's what Matt was talking about in the obesogenic environment. But you don't have to be a victim to that. A 2024 study in Cell Metabolism showed that ultra-processed foods activate the same reward circuitry as drug abuse. So someone who is taking cocaine is having the same brain as someone who's eating ultra-processed food. They induce dopamine release patterns similar to cocaine and heroin. They create hyperpalatable combinations, fat, sugar, and salt, that don't exist in nature. They engineer these foods to bypass your full signal, your satiation signal, and they're designed to create what's called hedonic hunger. That's gluttony. Full blown. That's like, I can't stop. You're not weak. Your brain is just responding to these engineered addictive substances. GLP-1s suppress your appetite, but they don't break your addiction, because GLP-1s work by making you feel fuller longer by, slowing the gastric emptying. They reduce your appetite signals, and they essentially numb your hunger out. They don't teach you how to cook. They don't break your emotional eating patterns. They don't address any trauma or stuff going on that's driving overconsumption. They don't change your food environment. They don't build new neural pathways in your brain. So what happens when you stop the medication? Same thing. You're going to be right back where you started. Your insurance company is not going to pay for these drugs forever.
And the cool thing is when you lose weight naturally and you get off of flour and sugar, you don't just regain the weight back because you just don't crave that food anymore. You learn how to make amazing, delicious food, and then you stay thin and hot forever. Who doesn't want that?
The British Medical Journal also talked about this ultra-processed food addiction. The Lancet just published 3 articles and studies about the danger of ultra-processed food. I mean, guys, it's there. Like, it's undeniable. A GLP-1 is not going to fix your ultra-processed food addiction. It just isn't.
Looking at a population not aging well, weak, frail. I mean, that is the potential if we don't put some kind of restraint on the prescriptions of these drugs.
So very much a walking advertisement.
Me too.
Yeah, and it's
These drugs taken without guardrails, without proof that you're following different lifestyle changes, that you're exercising every day, that you're eating healthy whole foods, that you're learning how to cook, that you're in a support group, helping other people, having them help you. This is the formula that works. If we don't have those kinds of guardrails, then what are the GLP-1s worth?
But I'm a no. Like, this is the thing I don't agree with you on. The guardrail thing is not, no, you don't need the drug at all.
The cat's out of the bag, Penelope.
You don't need the drug at all. Like, actually,
I agree,
these
but
drugs should be illegal because they're killing people and they're making people and children go blind.
That's actually not on the table. The lawsuits are not about that.
Well, some of them actually are.
They're about labeling.
Some of the lawsuits are because people are going blind because they were not warned about that. Yeah.
They're saying it's a small portion. It's causation, not, it's correlation, not causation. That's what Matt was saying. That's what people are saying. It's funny. Like, oh, animal data doesn't work. But, that's all we've got.
Frail. I mean, that is the potential if we don't put some kind of restraint on the prescriptions of these drugs.
So very much a walking advertisement.
Me too.
Yeah, and it's just, I don't think it's a negative thing to share, but
Very much a walking advertisement. Well, but let's be real and honest here. A walking advertisement is something that reflects natural health, beautiful, healthy outcomes. Like I always say, who do you respect more? Somebody who got a BBL or somebody who worked out at the gym every day and was consistent in protein and exercise and healthy foods? You respect the natural one. Why? Because number one, it obviously looks better. I mean, we know that.
I don't know, Penelope. Some people are really brainwashed. And they really think that, like, the whole fake eyelashes, fake nails, fake butt, fake boobs, like, that's, like, their thing.
Okay, the proof is, girls, if you're watching this, the GLP-1s make you look really saggy and sick and kind of like a dead skeleton. So from what we're seeing, you don't want to look like that. You don't want to be blind. You don't want to be blind. There are people who take Ozempic and then they go blind or they lose their vision. Mm-hmm. We're seeing a lot of that more recently, actually. It's a more recent thing we're seeing. There are speculations of why it's happening, but the fact that if you take a weight loss drug and you go blind, clearly that means that natural weight loss is safer because when you lose weight naturally, you don't go blind.
It's a negative thing to share, but I can definitely see how it can affect people and it can become more of a 100% vanity thing, which in a way I also don't think that's negative.
It's not negative to only do Ozempic only for vanity reasons, which means that so girls who are already a healthy weight, and then take Ozempic, which is a lot of girls do this, or they take off-the-label Ozempic, they also end up dead, and sometimes for uncaused reasons, but it's because of the off-the-label Ozempic, which I brought up in the beginning of the episode. They completely cut that portion out. It is really easy, I want to warn you moms out there, for your daughter to go on TikTok and buy illegal drugs. Like, you can just go on TikTok and buy illegal Ozempic and you have no idea what's inside that. And your daughter could be injecting herself with that and end up dead, like the fen-phen crisis.
Actually, we got an email recently from someone whose daughter did that and she was found dead. It's very serious. Of course, everyone isn't going to be in that situation, but that's very serious. I would never, ever want to lose my daughter just for the sake of losing weight. That's tragic. One of my family members took Ozempic for 5 months and was found dead on the floor. No one in America reported this death. She was overweight but had no health complications before. Doctors noted that she took Ozempic and stated her cause of death as unknown. She was perfectly healthy, and then she passed away. She's not the only one. We've interviewed 4 or 5 people who have been seconds away from death if it hadn't been for that EMT or that miracle doctor who stepped in at exactly the right moment. I wonder how many people have died that we just don't even know have died from this drug. And since when has it been cool to inject yourself on Instagram or publicly? I mean, have you noticed that? It's like, well, is it for vanity? If it's not for vanity, then why are you injecting yourself on camera, on social media? It just seems wild. I find it to be kind of disgusting.
So what's your long-term plan with that?
I do plan on staying on the medication long term. I do have PCOS, and it has really helped with my insulin resistance. And
Glutides and GLP-1 agonists, they're
long-term use of this drug. Number one, we have no long-term data on these drugs for weight loss in particular.
Right. Yeah.
And when you guys read the ingredients of these drugs, which I recommend all of you guys do, if you then list out those ingredients and say, ask ChatGPT or ask anything, ask Perplexity or ask Grok. Over the time period, when you take those ingredients that are inside of these drugs, like semaglutide, liraglutide, Saxenda, those are GLP-1 agonists, the names of them, what happens is that you actually get a lot of these negative side effects, like gastroparesis, like we're seeing. You get things like going blind, which we're seeing. I'll name one of the ingredients for you guys. What is it? It's like a fertilizer. An antifreeze.
Oh yeah, antifreeze. It's not really a fertilizer, it's an antifreeze. So like basically your car has that, so the engine doesn't freeze.
Why would we be putting that inside of our bodies?
Right.
And for a long period of time, of course it's going to do terrible things, like give you osteoporosis, or make you go blind, or make you die, or make you have suicidal thoughts. We're not supposed to be putting this stuff inside our bodies, by the way.
I just don't think it's not a solution, and Dr. Boss said that. Like, that's not a plan. And the real world, data shows a 2024 study presented at Obesity Week analyzed over 18,000 people who discontinued GLP-1s. That's a really good size of group. More than half of those people regained the weight within 1 year. The weight regain rose at 3 months, and then rose again at 12 months. And why do people usually stop? Well, because it's expensive, because they can't stop vomiting, or because the pain is too great in their stomach, or because they have pregnancy or some other issue, surgery or medication that doesn't work with it. When they stop, the weight comes back, and so do all the problems associated with it. I don't believe that these drugs were designed to be a long-term solution. It's a great business model, I get that, but not at the cost of human health.
Staying on the medication long term. I do have PCOS, and it has really helped with my insulin resistance.
Polycystic ovarian syndrome can be cured from natural weight loss, from whole foods, from diet and exercise, from not eating ultra-processed foods for more than 2 years. Why is that? Well, hey, I am testimony, I will say, but I also have people in our program who are testimony to this. Once you start eliminating ultra-processed foods, sugar and flour, your PCOS goes away, no more dark patches under your skin, no more painful periods, no PMS symptoms, no cramps. Actually, a girl in our program, she's only been in the program for 3 months, she just said, I have no PMS symptoms, I have no pain, I have nothing. My period was super short, it was fast, it was easy, I didn't even know it was there. And I was like, wow,
and it was
that's
finally
awesome.
on time, yeah.
That's how Mom and I feel. So, I mean
if you want sustained, long-term, safe, effective results, and you choose lifestyle over these drugs, I mean, the research is there. In that diabetes prevention program, 15-year program study showed that, you will learn the skills. And you will keep your weight off. You will keep your diseases reversed. You have to change your environment. You have to break your addiction, and you need the support and lifestyle change to do that. GLP-1s are not going to do that for you.
She needed that drug to start this journey. I really believe that. Like, she was in a spiral, couldn't start. But the fact that her mentality is, I'm going to be on this forever, or as much as I can get the samples to stay on it. Without it, I see patients like this.
Interesting. I just want to point out, anecdotally, we heard somebody say to us, yeah, I feel addicted to the drug. I actually have an audio of this girl saying she feels like she's addicted to Ozempic, which is really interesting. So some people might feel addicted to taking these drugs.
Yeah, because the panic of getting off the drug and knowing the consequences of getting off the drug are so big. I mean, people really want to lose weight. I get that. It feels great to be thin.
Without it, I see patients like this. Like, that's not a plan.
Born morbidly obese. You know, I used to think I had that fat gene. You were talking about genetics earlier. I thought I was born fat.
Oh, you do have the fat gene.
Yeah.
But no, I know.
So do I.
But guess what? I wasn't born 400 pounds.
No, you were born 8.5
I wasn't
pounds.
even born 200 pounds. Can we all agree that babies aren't born 400 pounds?
Right.
Yeah, you guys. Actually, I looked it up. I thought you guys would find this funny. The heaviest baby ever born survived only 11 hours and weighed 22 pounds.
Oh, wow.
So this whole idea that we're born obese and it's a disease and it's something you're born with is a lie. It's a complete lie. They're lying to you. Don't let them lie to you. You can lose weight naturally, successfully, safely, effectively. You can keep it off.
Well, if anyone's genes are working against them, it's ours. We have a lot of obesity in our family. A lot of our family members are obese. We have diabetes on all sides of the family. I mean, it's true that you could have a genetic predisposition to have heart disease or diabetes or obesity. And I'm here to say that you can also work with your genes to upregulate them so that you're not going to fall prey to the predisposition of your genetic makeup. It's absolutely possible. And Penelope and I are proof. We've lost 260 pounds between the two of us with no loose skin, all naturally. So it's possible. And not only us, there are thousands of people who've done it.
Oh, by the way, you guys, humans have existed for over 200,000 years. And for over 200,000 years, we have been successfully losing weight naturally. Now, when I say successfully, it doesn't mean that everyone in the world has successfully lost weight. It means that everyone who tried proper nutrition, diet, and exercise lost weight successfully
Penelope, you're being condescending.
Listen, for 200,000 years, safe and effectively.
Hold on, let's check in here. We actually haven't had a weight issue. We've had more of a starvation issue than we have in the last 30, 40 years. I mean, this is new. This is directly correlated with ultra-processed foods. TV dinners it started with, and it went from there, and it went on and on and on. It's a great business model, but when their profits are in opposition with your health, we got a problem.
You're not a victim. You are a hero, and that's what we're here to basically tell you.
I need weight loss drugs. And it doesn't mean that anyone needs weight loss drugs to lose weight, because people can lose weight naturally, and that's the truth.
Of course that's true. The law of thermodynamics, energy neither created nor destroyed. I mean, calories in, calories out. I mean, you guys, it's just, how are we denying science? If your doctor is denying this science I'm bringing up that's been working for thousands of years, that's very concerning.
Well, the doctor's hands are tied. He doesn't have time. So what we have here is a real healthcare system failure. The average time for a primary care physician is 15 to 18 minutes. Okay, that's it. In that time, your doctor needs to review your chart, listen to your concerns, conduct a physical exam, order tests, write prescriptions, document everything for insurance. That's a lot to do in 15 minutes. There is no time to teach you about ultra-processed food addiction, nor does he have the education for that, address emotional eating patterns, create a comprehensive lifestyle plan, discuss sleep optimization, teach stress management. Writing a prescription takes 2 minutes, maybe less. Teaching lifestyle medicine takes hours, and that is what Siobhan was talking about. It's really true, and these are just facts.
If you think about what's easier, injecting myself every week or working out 7 hours a week?
Well, I think for the complications that we're seeing, it's definitely easier to work out, for sure.
Of course.
I get the short-term thinking in that, but according to a 2019 study published in the Journal of Biomedical Education, the average nutrition education in the U.S. for medical schools is 19.6 hours over a 4-year period. That is not much. I have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours, if not thousands. Only 29% of medical students provide the minimum 25 hours recommended by the National Academy of Sciences. So that's just saying, like, that's a very low percentage. If doctors aren't personally interested in it, it's not part of their education in any kind of substantial way. Most doctors receive zero training in culinary medicine or food addiction. Your doctor doesn't prescribe lifestyle medicine because they're never taught it and there's no business model to support it.
And it doesn't mean that anyone needs weight loss drugs to lose weight, because people can lose weight naturally, and that's the truth.
And you had a lesser burden than these two did because of the years that they spent in that endocrine hijack.
I had less of a burden, because I lost weight naturally.
No, it's also. I think it's also because of your age. She was saying the damage was not as severe.
I lost weight naturally, and the people with GLP-1 had a harder time losing weight than me, who lost the weight naturally, ate whole foods, exercised every day, 10,000 steps, and the people who.
What is she implying, do you think?
Well, I know what she was implying, because off camera she says that I have more privilege because I had time. I call complete BS. This is not true. How are we convincing people?
Wasn't it more of a privilege to have GLP-1?
Yeah.
It's expensive?
Okay, first of all, let's define the word privilege. Let's put the word privilege definition up right now. The word privilege means that you have something that most people can't have. You have access on it. You can afford something that most people cannot afford. That would be a GLP-1. Natural weight loss, like I said earlier, the sun is free, walking is free, sleep is free. Cooking, like yourself cooking, can be free because it's a skill you have that's free. Sleeping is free, running is free, walking is free, jumping jacks are free. I mean, you guys, come on. Of course. Natural weight loss is way more. It takes way more effort, takes way more time, more consistency. You just jab yourself once a week and, oh yeah, I'm skinny and then possibly blind. I mean, you guys, of course it's more difficult and challenging, and you learn so much about yourself through the natural weight loss process. I lost 160 pounds, I would know. You lost 100 pounds, you would know. If doctors are talking to you like this, that is crazy. That is crazy. Like, what kind of incentives do they get? How much do they get paid? I know some doctors get paid over $1 million.
Well, I think doctors genuinely care, Penelope. I just don't think that they have a business model or the time to provide the lifestyle medicine solutions or the training that's required. So I don't think doctors are malicious. There's no malicious intent here. In fact, I think doctors really, and they're so happy they finally have a solution that they think is viable. But hold on. Every single person that we've interviewed who's had a major injury, like a life-threatening injury, 100% of them say, my doctor didn't know. He didn't tell me, but he also didn't know.
So you guys think that your doctors know, right? You're taking these drugs from these doctors thinking, oh, I'm doing the right thing. The doctors didn't know that these people would go blind. They didn't know these people would die. They didn't know these people would want to kill themselves or kill themselves. They had no idea. So who do you trust? Your freaking self. Who do you trust? Reading yourself, educating yourself. That's what we've had to do. Mom and I have spent months learning about GLP-1s. Months. I mean, it's been a long process. You and I have dove through so many emails and research.
If you're a parent and you're considering giving this to your child, please look at the research. It is very concerning. And it's a really big responsibility to have an obese child that you're enabling. I get it, but I'm here to tell you that there is another solution, there is another way, and there is no long-term data.
There was a group of people who were on GLP-1s and a group of people who exercised and ate well. The people who exercised and ate well in the GLP-1 group, they both lost the same amount of weight, but the people who ended up losing the weight naturally had improved fitness, improved heart health, and they had improved muscle. The GLP-1 group did not.
The doctors hate this study. Actually, all the doctors in the panel and in the comment section were saying, this stat doesn't exist. I feel sad for this, because that means these doctors are not educated properly. You know why? They say we can't read studies, we don't know anything. You guys, the study exists. Let me tell you, let's roll out the red carpet for this beautiful study that every doctor should be pro and excited for. Healthy weight loss maintenance with exercise, GLP-1 receptor agonist, or both combined, followed by 1 year without treatment, a post-treatment analysis of a randomized placebo-controlled trial. What does that mean? What is this? The results in this study demonstrate that natural weight loss through exercise and healthy diet yields broader health benefits beyond just weight reduction, such as sustained improvements in fitness, heart health, muscle preservation, and lower risk of adverse outcomes. In contrast, weight loss via GLP-1 drugs is heavily dependent on continued medication, often involving muscle loss, regaining weight after stopping treatment, and does not provide the same gains in cardiovascular or overall physical function. Wow. So not only does the study exist, the study is real. Natural weight loss is outperforming the GLP-1 drugs, and doctors don't like that? They say that's misinformation when it's a real study? Oh, I'm concerned that doctors are saying that. Can you trust your doctor if you didn't even know the study existed? I'm only pointing this out to tell you guys that doctors don't know everything. Clearly, we're not spreading misinformation. This is a real study, and you guys should fact check your stuff, because this study exists, and it's a real study. And if you're not pro-health, if you're not pro-natural weight loss, outperforming weight loss drugs, Who bought you? Who's paying you to say that, to think that? Who is paying you to misinform the public? This is concerning, and this is something we should be looking into.
Thinking independently is a very important thing now more than ever. There are so many messages coming at us trying to convince us of this and convince us of that, and I just really want to encourage you to do your own research. Now, in the modern day, we can get access to every research paper that ever existed. And so I really want to encourage you to do your own research before you make big decisions like taking a GLP-1 agonist or even starting a new diet. We are here for you to help you learn the things that we've learned. And that's really why we're doing this, because we care. And we've seen people who have been injured, and we are concerned. And we think that there needs to be a balanced conversation. The budgets for their advertising campaigns are big. Their lobbying platforms are huge. They're paying off doctors and so on and so forth. It's really important to have a balanced conversation. It's really important that you have informed consent. So keep learning, keep growing, keep making food that tastes great. If you're looking for recipes, check out our Substack.
Before we wrap, I really want to emphasize to you guys, there was a whole section about children and the use of these drugs in children. They took that entire chunk out. That was one of the most important parts of the entire thing. It was one of the only reasons I wanted to do it. By the way, if you didn't know, they are now testing these drugs on 6-year-old little children. They are now testing these drugs on 9-year-olds. And it's approved from ages 9 to 18 to take these weight loss drugs. Not only is this concerning, these children are experiencing some kind of vision loss, undefined what kind. They're experiencing some kind of organ failure. There are 3,800 lawsuits out right now for this. And they're also experiencing negative side effects. We're looking at a potential population of blind children, which I said on the clip they didn't include. We're potentially looking at a population of blind children. So that also means blind adults, non-functioning adults. We're potentially looking at less children because they die from organ failure.
And fertility issues and developmental issues that we just don't even know about yet.
Why are we giving children these weight loss drugs when we know that natural weight loss is far more powerful than these drugs and safer for our kids? Like, okay, I care about adults, of course, but like little children have to develop. Guess what, guys? There's no long-term data on how these drugs will affect children's fertility, children's potential children. There's no data on how it'll affect their hormones, their endocrine system. That's also what Dr. Boz said. That was cut out. And most importantly, their growth. We don't know how they're going to grow.
There are 2 trials that we know about that are funded by and run by Novo Nordisk, and they're the only ones that we have knowledge of right now. And it's concerning because there aren't that many people involved in these trials. The trials haven't been going on long enough, like 18 months. One is ongoing, but still, to me, as a parent, there is inadequate evidence that would convince me that these are safe for my child.
And to top it all off, as a cherry on top, Dr. Lee Kaplan has been paid $1.6 million to advertise and promote these weight loss drugs for children. He's a pediatrician. And another person has been paid over $600,000 by Novo Nordisk to promote these drugs to children. Promoting drugs to children is a whole different ballgame, and I'm not okay with it. To me, it's not ethically right. The power is actually in your guys' hands.
Always.
You guys can speak out about this. You guys can share this. You guys can tell your local communities, hey, don't put your kids on this. Like, this is what it's doing to people, and you can share this with your friends who might be on the drug. And, we are here to help any of you guys. We post 5 days a week of free weight loss advice. We post free recipes on Substack. We are here for you guys for free, and also if you want support. We're here for both. So to all of you guys who don't believe in the human's body and don't believe that you can heal naturally and don't believe in natural immunity, we still love you. We want you guys to do your own research. So please do your own research. We love you guys so much. Check out our Substack for recipes. We appreciate all of your support. And please don't forget to subscribe. We'll see you all the time.
Hey, we noticed that 79.2% of you are not subscribed, which means you're watching our videos, you like the content, but you haven't made the commitment. So we would love it if you would subscribe.
And if you want to join our Women's Accountability Group, don't forget to click the link in the description to join. We're only accepting amazing, awesome, and ready women, so please join if you're one of those. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and we will see you all the time.